So we're here in Newtown, Kilcolgan, County Galway, to meet a number of landowners who are potentially going to be affected by the proposed route for the Greenway from Athlone to Galway. Now we're going to meet a number of these landowners who are going to tell us exactly what it means if this Greenway comes right through the middle of their farms here in Kilcolgan.
Well, I suppose it all started last Christmas. We got a letter saying we were the preferred route for the Greenway. And we asked for meetings, and with COVID we didn't get one till the 15th of February. And we found out on that date that our submissions had to be in by the 28th, so we didn't get a lot of time to get them in. Later on, a month later, I found out other farmers in the local area hadn't been notified. So I done an interview on the Farmers Journal, and we found out then that a few days later they went out to tell them that their land was affected. And from then on, I suppose, there was a lot of other things that happened in between, but they knocked on basically farmers' doors saying, your land is affected, we can't talk today, but we'll get back to you. And it took off from there.
So when you say that your farm is going to be affected,
yes,
practically what does that mean with this preferred route for the Athlone Greenway? It's
very hard to call because they won't give an exact. They have a line drawn in from the back of the sheds behind me here and then over to the far road, which is about nearly a kilometre down. So anywhere in between there, they'll say it'll be in half or near enough.
So you mean it will go down the middle of your land?
Down the middle of our land. That's what they plan. And there's 4 or 5 bunches of farmers that have the same plots of land here, and they'll be the same.
But this is not scrubland, this is land that's in use?
It's all rented land, agricultural land. It's, I suppose, our income is from it.
So I know that you married over here. It's been a family farm for a number of generations.
That's right. And you know, it runs well. We have part of it rented. We keep some cattle ourselves for the summer. It's a hobby, but enjoyable. So that works out good. They won't meet us as a group of 4 farmers here that are affected. They want to meet us individually. And we won't do that because that's how everybody will fall out. So we're trying to stick together and do the right thing. But we need meetings and we need them now. So that'll be the main thing for us.
In terms of the support for what you're highlighting around here, I mean, how are people reacting to this?
Well, a lot of them didn't know till the last few days because they haven't been told. So they're in shock. They're coming to the door next door here, knocking, asking questions about it. So they didn't really know. So it'll take another week or 2 before we find out how much damage is going to be done with local farmers. But up to now, a lot of them didn't know it.
So when you say you're willing to talk to them, I mean, is there a midway point on this that you could meet 50-50?
Oh, we'd love to. We've been asking questions and emailing them in Galway County Council to meet us for months now. And the same email comes back. They'll meet anytime, anywhere, but I'm still here and I have no meeting got yet, you know, so that's a bit... It's tough, like, you know, every day you're battling a ghost. You're not fighting anyone because there's no one to fight. They won't meet you, they won't see you, so... I find it pretty stressful now at the moment to deal with that.
It must be a pretty stressful situation for your family too.
No, it's terrible. Like, it's a family home where Trish grew up, so, you know, I don't like that part of it. So I hope we can come up with a plan now, you know.
So we actually got a phone call from a local person to tell us, did we realise that our land was going to be affected? And then we attended a Zoom meeting. When we looked at the maps, we couldn't believe that our whole entire land is within this preferred corridor, which means that basically it doesn't really matter what route they take. More than likely our land is going to be part of the Greenway, which is fine if it went roadside, but the way our farm is set up, there's a road all the way along, and we regularly, 2 or 3 times a day, go from the main yard to our storage yard down the end. We have horses, so we hack these roads every day. We've done a lot of work, and then, you know, to be told that there's going to be a Greenway and that there's really nothing that we can do to fix it. And we've appealed for it to go roadside, and I don't think that's really a possibility.
So your farm is directly adjacent to Raymond Finnerty that we were speaking to earlier. So there's a number of farmers in this area, but your argument is, why not the roadway? Why does it have to take this particular route where it is affecting people so directly?
Yes, exactly. We are actually for the Greenway. I've done the Greenway. It's not that I'm against the Greenway. It's just that my business will not be viable if they do this to me. We've only just started. It's beginning to establish it with the horses. We have pedigrees, warbles. You know, we're only just starting with the farming, getting everything up and running. For the Greenway to just come and take it all away is just heartbreaking.
How do you feel all of the issues around this have been communicated with you as landowners?
With landowners, we've had no contact. We attended 2 meetings, one Zoom and one down in Mourns of the Weir, with the council, and with regards to private messaging, we've had no contact. We have submitted ourselves 2 letters with our objections, and we've had no contact back.
So how does that make you feel as a landowner affected?
Oh, well, we feel like we're totally in a hole, really. We don't know where we stand from a business perspective. We don't know where we're going. I don't know whether I should invest more money in the business or whether I should look to step away. You know, I don't know what to do, really, to be honest. Like, we're exercising, we're going about our daily lives, exercising the horses, dealing with the sheep, and you're just looking at it every day, thinking about it all the time at night, wondering what next. Do you know, do we look to do the plans that we had thought that we were going to do, or do we leave it and see where this is going to go?
I can hear from what you're saying there, it's a very stressful personal situation now.
Yeah, very stressful. I'm finding it really hard not to be thinking about it all the time. Do you know, it's hard enough being a female farmer, and then you're trying to like go to the mart and do all these things. As a woman, it's hard enough in agriculture without having this as well.
You know, it's fairly busy with tourists at the moment as it is. You know, that road out there is fairly busy, the camper vans, it's the Wild Atlantic Way. All the local restaurants, they're in it every day, there's tourists everywhere, so it's fairly choked up, you know, to be bringing a cycleway into it as well. I don't know, have we got the capacity really to do that?
Well, I would like for the council to engage with us, and I would also like a proposal for it to go roadside. And I suppose to appeal to them, not to destroy. Like, it's nice to meander through the countryside, but at the same time to think about the people that it's affecting and the businesses, and whether or not we could have it roadside, or whether they could go along the back and the countryside and have for parts of the Greenway to have it along the country roads.
Now, I know from what we've seen of where you're operating, this is a business that you've put a lot of work and money into.
Yeah, I mean, we reclaimed our whole farm, and we've put in an arena and a walker, and we've fenced it. We have 3 kilometres of roads. We've tried to bring a diversity to it. We've planted 3,500 trees down there. We've recently started investing in Zwarble sheep, which are pedigree type of sheep, to try and get away from commercial sheep, you know, to just bring diversity. There's like a little bog area down there, again, that we've planted so that we're bringing wildlife. We have a cuckoo down there, you know, I mean, it's just amazing. We're trying our best, like looking into the future, to be diverse, and then, you know, you're just wondering, where does it all end up? All the work that we've done, all the building, all the money, and it could be all ruined.
And there's safety issues that you in particular are concerned about if this greenway goes ahead as proposed through your land?
Yeah, well, I suppose from a safety perspective, we have horses, we have stallions, we have colts, and they do break out even if we have them secured as best as we can. And if they did break out on the greenway and it runs straight through the land, I mean, they just have kilometres and kilometres. I mean, if a horse hits you at speed, I mean, there's families on this. There's also safety perspective, safety from the sheep, as in like people who walk with their dogs. If we have pedigrees, warbles out, and you have people who wouldn't be familiar with sheep and their dogs run loose, and then we have injuries, we're never going to be able to follow these people up because they'll just disappear. You know, it's just endless, the amount of risk that it brings. What happens if somebody feeds a horse something from the other side that the horse is not supposed to have, and then we have, you know, illnesses with the horses, or if somebody hops the fence and comes in and they have a fall, where does this lie with us, you know?
We have to keep running after them. Well, it's only going to make people more against it, whereas if they do listen and talk to us, maybe we can come up with a solution.
But for us, with these 4 farms, we're in a route no matter what way we look at it, unless it goes alongside the road or unless it's on the countryside like road. We're always going to be in a route. So for them to say, oh, we haven't a definite route, it's just like, I can't even put it in words, to be honest.
We don't oppose to it. We'll help them in any way we can, but they have to start talking to us. You know, that's the main thing for me.